In my previous segment, discussing the new footage that came out showing Ahmaud Arbery inside the new build property, the construction site, on several occasions at night, I briefly mentioned that with the assistance of the FBI, the GBI had made the arrest of a man named Rashawn Smith. They claimed that he was making threats to future protests, but they didn't give us the full details. Well, we now have an update. This story did come out the other day, so I have a fuller picture here of what's going on. This man, Rashawn Smith, is being accused of creating a hate crime hoax, creating a fake Facebook page, apparently supporting the McMichaels, the two men who were in the pickup truck in the confrontation with Arbery, and threatening any protests that were actually seeking to mourn Arbery's death. We also have some other information about the man who recorded the video. Things are getting a bit out of hand. And as it goes, you've got tribal information war. I think it's fair to say at this point, no one's really interested in getting to the truth of what happened and getting justice. I mean, look, there are obviously people who want to know what really happened and want to see justice, me being one of them, many of you probably agreeing. But for some reason, we're seeing many conservatives and leftists just push on this fake narrative and not try to figure out what actually happened. And because of this, apparently, a man who is apparently innocent is now receiving threats. In fact, this man who filmed the incident is responsible for the McMichaels being arrested in the first place. Yet for some reason, they're accusing this guy of being an accomplice. He filmed it. He gave the footage to the police. The video came out, and it's the reason this is all happening. But for some reason, these people are threatening this guy. That's how bad things are getting. Well, let's take a look at the first story. They say, from the Daily Mail, Black Georgia man 20 is arrested for setting up fake Facebook page in support of Ahmaud Arbery's two killers and threatening protesters who paid their respects at the spot where the 25-year-old, I like how the Daily Mail is just going full framing on this one. They say, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation on Sunday said that state police arrested Rashawn Smith and charged him with dissemination of information relating to terroristic acts. Smith allegedly created a fake Facebook page and used it to make threats against the protesters. He was taken into custody in Midway, a town about 50 miles north of Brunswick. Earlier in the day, the GBI said it had been made aware of a Facebook post that contains a threat to future protests related to Ahmaud Arbery. It was not immediately clear if Smith has an attorney who could comment on the charge. Hundreds of people gathered alongside some 300 bikers in Brunswick on Saturday to honor Arbery. The bikers were seen kneeling at the spot where Arbery was fatally shot on February 23rd by two white men who claim they were making a citizen's arrest as they suspected him of a neighborhood burglary. Several of those in attendance near the Sydney Lanier Bridge wore face masks and T-shirts with the phrase, "I run with Maud," in tribute to Arbery. On February 23rd, Arbery was jogging in his Scintilla Shores neighborhood. Whoa. Fake news, Daily Mail. Get your facts straight. In all likelihood, he wasn't jogging. That's just what the claim his family has made. We actually don't know anything about what he was doing there, why he was there, and it wasn't his neighborhood. He was relatively far away from his neighborhood. That's accepted. Maybe it's wrong. And he's also been seen on multiple occasions at night. Now, I love this because I tweeted this out and I immediately get inundated with people saying the same thing over and over again. Yeah, well, so what? He doesn't deserve to die. I agree. I oppose the death penalty. That's not the point. The point is he wasn't jogging. That's an absurd assumption to make, and the Daily Mail is reporting it as fact. So the bulk of the story here, or I should say the lead story for this main segment, is just this man trying to making hoax threats to smear people who would be supporting the McMichaels, which is kind of strange because very few people, I don't think anyone is supporting them, to be honest. Very few people. There are. I've seen the tweets. But almost nobody. I mean, there are high-profile conservatives that are taking the leftist perspective on this one, which is wrong. And then there are many more people, typically on the right, who are simply saying these two guys shouldn't have gotten in a truck and gone after him, and it resulted in his death, and that they're responsible for it, straight up. But there are a few interesting things I've seen. Now, I don't have one of the stories pulled up, but it talks about the guy who actually owns the home, Larry English. Larry English is apparently saying nothing was ever taken from his property, and he's an innocent bystander in all this, and he's getting threats. And now he thinks he can't even return to his own to his own property. According to the Washington Post, the owner of the home where Arbery was inside of several times said that it was his bucket list. He doesn't live there. He's about 90 miles away, but that he wanted to build this waterfront property and that he hasn't seen anything taken. He's never reported a robbery or anything like that. Now, I find this claim strange. He's saying he just wants to get on with his life and he's an innocent bystander, like I mentioned. But how did the McMichaels know about this? In fact, maybe they didn't. Maybe they just heard people saying they saw it. Maybe Larry English had told people. These guys thought they were going to go and catch somebody who was doing something who apparently did very little. A lot of people have argued with me saying, what are you saying, Tim? Are you accusing Arbery of stealing? I'm like, no, I'm saying it's weird. And it's not like, okay, they're trying to say that Arbery was curious and that's why he kept going into this property. And I'm like, no, that makes no sense, man. I'm not saying he stole anything. I just don't know what he was doing. It's really that simple. But we can see how insane and heated things are getting. Take a look at this. Man who recorded the Ahmaud Arbery shooting has been receiving threats, attorney says. And the narrative that's coming out, apparently because in an initial police report, they argued this guy filming was actually trying to block Arbery. He's denying that, saying no. And the official statement is basically like, he saw the truck going after the guy, so he started filming and followed as well. That's it. Now he's receiving threats. People do not care about what really happened. I don't know what these people want, man. I'll tell you what. I have seen mobs. I have seen mob mentality, and this is what we are getting. Okay, look, you're not gonna. There's no argument. I think 99% of people are saying Ahmaud Arbery should not have lost his life. There's a small percentage of people saying, well, you know what, he shouldn't have been committing a crime or whatever. But most people are like, dude, shouldn't have died for this. Okay, so this is really strange then that people are just going out for blood for anyone related to this. This is the danger of mob mentality, and it's why facts are so important. But I'll tell you what, people are emotional. They don't necessarily care about what happened, who did what. When you get a mob rolling up, people just go nuts. This is the danger of like the first rock thrown, right? So what happens during protests, we see how this mob mentality takes hold and how it escalates. There will be a big group of people, mostly peaceful. Someone who wants to spark a mob mentality or mob scene will go in the middle of the crowd, crouch down and throw something that triggers the police. And then a bunch of people just go nuts and it escalates and lights the powder keg. What we're seeing right now, the powder keg has been lit off. Most people don't care about what happened. They don't care about the facts. They just want blood. And I mean that figuratively. Here's a story from News 4 JAX. The man who recorded the fatal shooting of Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia is receiving threats after authorities announced he's also being investigated following the killing, his attorney said. The man, William Rody Bryan, shared the 36-second video with police and was cooperating with investigators. His attorney, Kevin Goff, said in a statement Friday. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's English. Spare me. It was Mr. Bryan who videotaped the incident in question, disclosed the existence of the videotape, and invited a responding Glynn County police officer to sit with him in his truck where they watched the video together. The video appears to show the confrontation between Arbery and two men before the shooting that left Arbery dead. They go on to explain what happened. We know. The footage was a very important piece of evidence, GBI Director Vic Reynolds said Friday. Asked whether there will be additional arrests, Reynolds told reporters the investigation is still active. We investigate everybody involved in the case, including the individual who shot the video. The comments by authorities have put Bryan's life in danger, along with his family, friends, and neighbors, his attorney said in a statement. He added that his client has lost his job despite committing no crime and cooperating with the investigation. This is why you stay the F away from mob whatever. This guy decided to film this stuff. You shouldn't have done it. Stay away, avoid the conflict. And you know what? Let this be a lesson to all the people who want justice. Because of what you're doing, you are making sure that witnesses do not come forward. The only reason these guys, the McMichaels, are getting arrested, the only reason this story is happening is because of this man, Rody Bryan, or whatever you say his name is, because he filmed it, because he gave the footage to the police. The police are the one, it's the prosecutor who didn't move forward. It's the police who didn't arrest the guys. Don't get mad at the witness who gave you the evidence that you needed to make this happen. But of course, now you're going to see a ton of people refusing to engage, not wanting to be involved, and giving no statements. And congratulations. They say, Bryan's attorney said his client was not acting in conjunction with the McMichaels the day of the shooting. Bryan was doing yard work when he saw an unfamiliar man being chased by a car he recognized as being from the neighborhood. Bryan filmed the incident and shared the video with police when they arrived on scene. Later, he went to a police station so authorities could access and download the footage. Bryan and the McMichaels did not have a relationship, Go said, besides being neighbors, and at one point when Gregory McMichael brought lawnmowers to the shop where Bryan worked. Any implication that his client was a vigilante was inaccurate. Mr. Bryan videotaped what was going on, and because he did that, there is a prosecution. If he had not videotaped that incident, the only person who really could speak to what happened is dead and will never have that opportunity. The video is the prosecution. The GBI is reviewing additional video and photographs as part of the investigation, it announced Saturday in a news release. The footage, which the GBI did not describe, was reviewed prior to the arrests of Gregory and Travis McMichael. The McMichaels allegedly chased down Arbery in a pickup truck, believing he was a suspect in a string of burglaries. Gregory McMichael told police his son, so this we know. CNN's attempts to reach Gregory and Travis have been unsuccessful. According to an April 7th letter from Waycross Judicial Circuit District Attorney General George Barnhill, who has since recused himself from the case, his son and McMichael helped with an earlier prosecution of Arbery when they both worked for the Brunswick Judicial Circuit District Attorney's Office. Barnhill's letter, sent to the office of Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr, did not specify what the prior prosecution was for or when it took place. Now, some people have responded to that saying, so in the video, many of you have probably seen it. I've gone over this several times now. This guy who's filming is relatively far away. He's not blocking anyone from doing anything, okay? He's in fact so far away you can't even see what's really going on, and the video pans. You can't really make out a lot of what's happening. This guy is saying he was just a bystander who filmed it. In that video, though, you can see that Travis McMichael is in front of his pickup truck, and Arbery turns right, presumably because Travis is standing in the road, and goes around the pickup, but then attacks Travis. That's in the police report. That's what we see on video. The defense we see from many of the defenders of Arbery is that, well, if someone was pointing a weapon at you, you defend yourself as well, too. That's an extremely good point. And a lot of people I see are dismissing it, arguing that Arbery just struck him for no reason. I'll tell you what, man. Regardless of what he did or was doing, if there's a guy with a weapon in the middle of the road, yeah, you got to make a decision. You don't know if the guy's going to attack you, shoot you in the back. You have no idea what you're going to do. So I can understand why there's motivation for this fight breaking out, which is why I've said these two guys were wrong to get in their pickup and chase after him. The problem I have with everything is the mob. They're going after the witness who's allowing us to know what's going on. Y'all need to calm down. This dude's speaking out now. Man who recorded shooting of Arbery speaks out. And this is a story from CBS local, JAX, saying, last week after the arrest of the two men, we have an interview with William Roddy is his name, I believe. Action News Jax reporter Bridget Matter spoke to Bryan in his home. He says he's been in complete, here's what he said, complete shock. I've never been involved in anything like that before. The GBI said Bryan and his video are both currently part of the investigation. The video, which was leaked more than 2 months after the shooting, prompted, demonstrations. We get it. He said, I am not feeling safe at all. I haven't felt safe in at least 3 to 5 days now. Like Amy, his fiance, has said, the threats have been real. The initial police report mentions Bryan attempted to block him, which was unsuccessful, but Bryan denies being a part of the confrontation. I had nothing to do with it. I'm trying to get my life back to normal, and it's been smeared for the last week. I was told I was a witness, and I'm not sure what I am other than receiving a bunch of threats. His lawyer apparently said, my client was responding to what he saw. This we already know. I read that already. Bryan and his fiance said they are now living in their car in fear for their lives. I'd be lying if I didn't say I wasn't scared. If that's what they wanted to do was scare me, they've scared me. The Bryan's attorney expects the GBI to give him more information. Look, I'll be honest. We don't know who's threatening this guy. I think it's fair to say it's likely the leftist activists who are threatening him. It's entirely possible there are people threatening him for having filmed this and getting the McMichaels arrested in the first place, but I really, really doubt that. This is what we have to be careful of. I've seen it in protests. We've seen it in riots. We see how this escalates. And now you've got people who don't care about what's really happening. They just want what they call justice. It's not justice. It's never justice. Justice is due process. It's the Fifth Amendment. I'll be the first one to point out, having covered a lot of these things, you have a serious problem when it comes to due process when one party to this is no longer alive to actually tell you what happened. Ahmaud Arbery has died. We'll never hear his side of the story. And that is a serious problem with getting to the truth. What was he doing? Why was he doing it? Why had he frequently been there? We'll never know. And we'll never know because these two guys jumped in a truck and went after a guy. Now, it's not a story. This is what really bothers me because look, I guess the main thing I should be highlighting is the hoax hate crimes. This is how insane things get. This is what happens when people are just going to war for no reason. All right. So this is what I'll say. I see the posts from, man, friends of mine who are just saying lies. It's the most frustrating thing. And I know there's nothing I can say to them. No one will change their mind. I could message my friend and say, yo, that post you put up is not true, man. No, I am not saying these guys were good guys. Not at all. But man, you really got to stop this. Look what's happening. The witness is getting threats. The guy who owns the home is getting threats. These are the people who are helping give evidence. And this dude now arrested for setting up a fake Facebook page. Why? To get people hurt. This is nuts. Things are getting out of hand. Nobody cares. That's all I want everyone to calm down and say, let's get some justice. Let's look over the evidence. Instead, when this guy puts out these fake threats, what's going to happen? The protesters are now going to point the finger at conservatives. Well, tons of conservatives are on their side, so that's strange, but it's creating insane tribal animosity. People will get hurt. This dude's hoax Facebook page is going to create partisan lines. The fake threats will freak people out, and they're going to escalate tensions. It's probably because they want it to happen. The people posting the things like this dude, he wants chaos. He wants conflict. You know why? It's not about justice, like I mentioned. It's about justification. This dude wants to be justified in his hatred. We see this all the time with hoax hate crimes. Look at the Jussie Smollett thing, man. We got Jussie Smollett, what, 4, 5.0 keeps happening. This dude needs to be able to justify why he hates other people. And he wants other people to join in his hate. So he makes a fake Facebook page and he threatens people so that everybody can get all angry and scared. And then he can say, see, this proves it. They think they're right. They think they know. The problem is you're not actually seeing real threats. It's a fake narrative created by people who just want blood. Now, I don't know what this guy really wants. I'll tell you what. I have no idea. Maybe he's just like the Joker. He just wants to watch the world burn. So setting a fire to the powder keg was what he was trying to do. Fortunately, he was caught. I don't know how. Apparently, they said the FBI and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation worked together on this one, and the GBI made the arrest. But this is what we need to be careful for, because we've seen it across the country. You know what happens when someone lies and sparks hatred, and then it results in rioting. And I have to wonder, what really, really bothers me about this, makes me so angry to see people I know going on Facebook and Instagram and posting these things, saying it's so heartbreaking, this poor man was jogging. And I'm like, where were you when that Asian woman got kicked in the face? Andy Ngo's been talking about it. It's really difficult to get justice for certain communities. Think about what goes on in New York all the time with the Jewish community. Have you seen the videos where people run up and they bash the face in of just innocent people who are walking down the street, happen to be Jewish? How hard is it to get justice for these people? What about the crimes committed against Asian Americans that never make the press like this and happen all the time? These social justice people, they go on their accounts and they're like, it's not fair. It's like, bro, I didn't see you come out for any of these other minority groups. You never do. You are lying. You just want the chaos. That's why I don't like it. I don't trust it. And you see this stuff. Are they going to call this guy out? Is any one of these people going on their social media virtue signaling tirade going to point out it is fake, it is being exaggerated? No. What we have is a story of stupidity, tragedy, and it happens all the time in this country. Yet it's selective outrage. I don't know why. I don't know why it is that people latch onto these stories. It's almost just like a spark. We don't know for sure. There's so many other stories that people could latch onto and protest over and get angry over, but for some reason, it's always stuff like this. Confusing, complicated, and nuanced. I think about that story of, I think his name was Philando Castile, the guy who was legally carrying a firearm and a cop killed him. And I'm like, that did get a lot of attention. I'm glad it did, because that was injustice. And we got a clear picture. His girlfriend or fiance, I'm not sure the relationship, live streamed it. It was horrifying. Innocent dude, legally carrying a firearm, had his life ended. That's what you got to call out, man. This is a story of a guy who, in all likelihood, in my opinion, was not jogging, was entering a property on multiple occasions. I can only assume for why, but the point is he was trespassing. People didn't like it. A couple morons took lethal force to confront him, and it resulted in somebody losing their lives. That shouldn't have happened. But stories like this happen all the time, man. They're trying to make it out to be a lynching. They're trying to make it out to be race-related. It's not at all. That's an extreme assumption. And then when they do, it just bothers me that so often we see these stories not get covered when it's any other racial minority. It just makes me feel like it's all a lie. I'll leave it there. I'll see you all at 4 p.m. on my main channel. If you want to check out the main channel, in the description below, go to timcast.net. And you'll be brought to a channel many of you didn't know existed. I do. I get a bunch of messages. People are saying, I don't understand. You have another channel. I do. Timcast.net. Check it out. I will see you all there at 4 p.m.